Welcome back, everyone. And today we're going to do your July check-in. We're going to do it for every single sign. And with this reading, I'm just going to do a quick 3-card pull per sign, oracle card, and then roll some dice for numerology to tie it all together, okay? And if you stick to the end, maybe I'll have a little extra message for you as well. All right, so, for Aries, your current theme for going into July, as we're here now on the 5th or the 6th, if you're watching this, is the Five of Pentacles. It's telling you don't get too caught up in the negatives of life, right? Because only thing it's going to do is bring you down. It'll make you feel like you don't have enough and just kind of put you in a state of disarray. So you have to realize that even though you may be walking and only seeing the shadows in life, right behind you is still an entry to something more beautiful. And you got to keep that on the forefront of your mind. And to kind of clarify that a little bit, we had the Lovers card. So, things will always work out as long as you can keep yourself positive. As long as you don't let yourself get too down on the mud, right? Five of Pentacles, then things will always lift up. But you got to believe that, because as soon as you stop believing that things can be good, then you're going to continue to stay in the rut, okay? And so with the Lovers card too, we're seeing maybe this month could be about finances and something on the side of relationships, or something on the side of you trying to connect deeply with yourself, as in re-evaluating who you are. And that could be the reason too for feeling a little bit on the downside. But again, don't let it get to you, because it always comes and passes, right? Things always come and go. And what you have to remember is that there's always hope, there's always faith. You just got to believe. As long as you believe, then things do work out. But the problem is, as humans, what do? We get so caught up in our mind that we can't let anything good happen, because we're so brainwashed and programmed to just believe everything is bad, right? So again, what to remember this month going into it: have hope, things will work out, and things will work out. They always do, right? Everything always balances itself out. And again, the advice here coming up for you, Aries, is judgment. That the message is hard because you have to wake up to it. You have to realize that only you're the person that can make the change. But as long as you continue to block it, then nothing changes. And so if that someone special in your life is there with you, walk through it with them. Don't go it alone. That's maybe why Lovers came up in the first position with the Five of Pentacles, is saying, like, you know what? You always can rely on me. Just open yourself up to me so that I can help your partner, that is, okay? So that's the advice I have for you. That's a short reading I have for you, Aries. Now we're going to pull a couple oracle cards to finalize this message, and then we'll have a few dice thrown to come up with the numerology to see what it has to say, okay? All right, so what we got for you, Aries, it says that because you're fire, it's giving you a card of water, frozen for a time. It's basically telling you to stop letting your fire rule you and calm it the hell down. And it's a 16. That's a 1 and a 6 energy, which equals a 7. And a 7 is all around assessment, or to observe. And what's funny is this is the month of July, which is also a what? It's a 7. So it's telling you that right now, just slow it down a bit. You don't need to react to everything. Just take it day by day. But remember, when the call comes, answer it, because if you don't, you're going to stay laying in the grave. It's time to get out of it and hear your higher calling and move towards that, okay? So that's what we're seeing for you there. And then one more oracle card says the alchemy of poison. It says transformational lessons, reclaiming personal choice, radical forgiveness. So 22, right? Master number. And what that is telling you, it's time to rebuild yourself through lessons you've learned. And so maybe the reason why you're in this little bit of a funk is because you haven't learned what you need to learn, and you're not letting other people help you through it. The Lovers card, right? Somebody else special in your life coming through with you to lift you up. Maybe that's what it's talking about. Only you know that, Aries. I don't. But again, you got to have hope and faith and believe things will be okay. And then when the trumpet sounds, raise to it and answer that call, so things will work out the way they should. So that's your message going into July. And now we'll do some checkups also throughout the month. And then the dice say what? It's a 10. You're stuck in a cycle. And again, you notice how you have a 5 and a 5? That's a 5 of Pentacles. So the thing is showing us here is that the 5 is struggle. The 5 is freedom. How do you do it? By 10, by breaking the cycle and going back to a 1 of new options, new possibilities. And that's your reading, Aries, for July. Next up, we have Leos. All right, Leos, this is your reading. Again, this is a 3-card quick read, mini read, and we're going to pull 3 cards. maybe one or two more if needed, and see how your July is looking for you going into it. We'll pull a few oracle cards and then roll the dice to see the numerology behind it. So coming into July, the energy is all around what? The Hangman. It's time to really step back and look at things a little differently, right? It's not about, I don't see self-sacrifice, nothing like that. It's really look at things differently. You see he's hanging by his foot. So you're not looking at things like you normally would. It's time to say, no, I got to look at things a little different so I can 13 grow. And while I get 13, you have a 10 and a 2. That's a 12. That's a 1 energy and a 2 energy, saying that you got to start making decisions to find new growth, new potential. To 3, to grow it is whatever you're looking at. So again, it seems like it's more of a personal thing this month, something internal, something within. This is the archetype card. So it's something dealing heavy on your soul, and it's a change that you need to make, and you need to make it now, right? So start looking at things a little differently. And then the things that could be maybe getting in your way is that you're a little too emotional about it, the Page of Cups. And so maybe you're trying to be a little bit erratic about it, because with Leo, you want it to happen right now. It's fire, but the water is saying, no, you got to slow it down and temper it, and you got to really look for new outlets and don't be caught up in your emotions, Hierophant. And it's saying that maybe you got to tap into some structure. So maybe by looking at things differently, you can find maybe a mentor or a guide or something to structure yourself, to ground yourself so you don't let your emotions get caught up. And it could be even saying, go talk to somebody this month, because maybe there's something carrying over from June that's heavy on the heart and really weighing you down. Okay, Leo, that's what I'm seeing for you. And then the last advice is don't get caught up in the fight. It isn't worth it. That's 5. That's contention. That's heavy. And that's an air card. It's the mind. And with your fire and with the air here, that's combustion. It turns into a total nightmare. So this month, rather than trying to win, back down, swallow the ego, and let the pride die a bit, okay? Let it fade away by the wayside, because what's the point of winning if you crush 2 of their souls? It means nothing. And that's why it's telling you, Leo, because like me, I'm a Leo too. We can have very hot temper. So look at things differently. So when somebody gets in your way, don't roll them over. Work through it. Remember how I said the 12 energy, the 1 and the 2 is a 3? Look at that. The 1 energy is in his hand. That's you, Leo. You're holding it. What are you going to, and then the 2 is in the arm. What are you going to do? Are you going to make the opportunity to reconcile, or you make the opportunity to just bury them? Right? That's your choice. And I can't answer that for you. Only you can answer that for yourself. But your message really is to let things go. Look at things differently. Don't get caught up in emotions, and maybe seek some outside counsel or guidance with the Hierophant there to help you maybe move through this month, because things may be a little bit heated. That's what we're seeing. Now, what does the Oracle have to say? All right, Leo, the Oracle says what? Letting go of stories. Letting go of stories. And it says surrendering attachments, releasing unconscious patterns. What's a fighting? It's unconscious pattern. It's wired into. Don't fight, Leo. Let it go. Letting go of stories. If somebody talks trash, who cares? Let it go. And what I find very interesting is the 34 on this card, a 3 energy and a 4 energy, is saying that through communication, you can find a solid foundation. But then that's only achieved how? Through a 7, through observation, by assessing things rather than reacting to them. And this is July. That's also a 7 month, right? It's a month of reflection, a month of observation, a month of rest from the normal way, because you need to look at things differently. One more card. It says the mask we wear, okay? Self-expression, protection, and authentic self. Look at things differently tells you to take the mask off this month, you know? You don't always need to have that chip on the shoulder. You always don't have to be the tough person in the room. Let it go sometimes. Let them show you your warmth, Leo. You're the lion. You have a kind heart. Let people see that. Let them see your loyalty. Don't hide it. Don't put on a show. Drop the mask and just be real. 33. What's a 33? Well, 33, Leo, is the master teacher. And the thing is, you can't teach people until they know how much you really care, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Remember that. And then the energy of the dice says what? We have a interesting 6, a 4 energy and a 2 energy. Remember we said the 4 earlier and the 2, the decisions? Well, 4 is a foundation, a 2 is a decision. And by making good decisions, you'll have a solid foundation that brings you a 6, harmony and peace throughout the month. Okay? But it's only going to come by looking at things differently and also not stepping to bat with a fight all the time. And then when you do get a little bit over emotional about certain things, immature energy, a little bit erratic, let your emotions take over, seek a little higher power to help you through it, whether that be your friend, maybe the counselor, maybe God, whatever it might be for you. Seek that to help move through these emotions when they become turbulent. All right. So that's all we have for Leo. And next up is Sagittarius. All right, Sagittarius, you are up with this quick 3-card read, and we're going to look at what going into July looks like for you. So the energy coming into this is what Sagittarius is the Four of Pentacles. So this could have a shadow and a light component to it. It's one way of saying don't be so greedy. Don't close yourself off to life behind you. So even though you built well for yourself, when you hold on too light, things turn out not the way you plan, right? Also could be saying is that maybe you want to share a little bit too. So that 4 is around foundation, support, stability in life, right? But again, when you hold on too tight, what happens? Things fall apart anyway. So maybe you got to let go a little bit. That's the kind of vibe I'm picking up on this 4 of Pentacles right now. Now, the traditional book would say you're kind of being a miser. You're kind of holding on too tight. I'm not seeing it like that. I'm seeing it like there's a world behind you, and don't get caught up in what you have. Let the material possessions go a little bit and enjoy life, because you only got one shot at this, right? You can't repeat once time is gone. All right, Sagittarius. Now, things to be mindful of too is that sometimes you got to let go, right, in order to grow. So what it's saying is that maybe rather than following your normal 4 of Pentacles vibe where you're holding on to everything so tight, death is saying you have to let go so you can grow. And what's interesting too is this card's a 13, a 1 energy and a 3 energy, which makes you a 4 energy. And the 4 energy maps to what? The Emperor. An Emperor rules. An Emperor rules through kindness. He's like that father figure. So if you want to be kind and help people out, then change your ways of always being the miser. Change your ways of always holding things back. Be free a little bit. And that's also going to free you from this feeling that you never have enough. Because believe me, you have enough, right? Look at the card right there, the 4 of Pentacles. You've already built great wealth, great stability in your life. That is a 4. So you already got the Emperor energy going on. Don't let it reverse and become tyrannical, because if you ignore the change, then upside down death says what? You become the tyrant. You don't want to do that, okay, Sagittarius? You don't want to do that. Now, the advice is Wheel of Fortune. If you can follow this, then guess what? Then karma, what comes around, goes around. What goes up must come down. You have a chance right now to write your own destiny going forward, especially through this month of July. So how do you want to deal with it? Well, you got to choose how you want to handle it, right? So again, you have the 14 and a 4, which is an 8, which is a 9. So if you want to attain greater things this month in July, then again, karmic cycle, what comes around goes around. You follow me? You hear what I'm saying here? If you give a little, it returns back to you. Always does. So don't hold on too tight, because you want that good fortune. You want that little bit of prosperity to come to you with this Wheel of Fortune card, because you're going to break the cycle of old, 10, and open up to new opportunities the wait ahead. Okay, now we're going to pull a couple of Oracle cards, Sagittarius, to see what they have to say. Okay. Your card is in the midst of the radiant fire. Inspiration, passion, obsession, and cleansing fire. And the only way you can cleanse your fire, when you learn to let things go and you rebirth yourself through death, right? You rebirth, become something better. So in the midst of the radiant fire is all about 31 of 4, that when you choose to actually grow and you choose to look at things in new ways with new opportunities ahead of you, then you 4 it. See, if 4 is all through your reading, you become that Emperor, you become that stability in life. So you don't lack anything. You always will have, because you're now becoming inspired by others, by helping. You're becoming passionate to make sure that what you want works out best for you, okay? And how? By cleansing that fire, dying to self, rising to something new, and the Wheel of Fortune. Just allow it to happen. Take it as it comes and don't fight it, okay? Don't fight the wheel. Next card we have is A Way Out of the Weeds. That's a 37. That's a 10. See, you're all around cycles this month. Sagittarius is all around cycles. It says a clear way out, multitasking, getting organized. So I don't hear anything about holding on to more money. I don't hear anything about not reinventing yourself. I don't hear anything about not accepting something new. I'm hearing that the way out of the weeds is by getting organized. By 7. And the 3, by assessing things, by being creative. And did this card here also say inspiration and passion, right? So you have the 3 by creativity, 10. You then break the pattern that you're in, trying to hold on to tight, to want it, to have something new, to 10 it, the wheel of fortune, right? A new start. All right, so that's my reading for you, Sagittarius. Now we're going to pull some dice here, roll them, and what do we got? A 9. Didn't I say 9 earlier, to attain something? So now you have a 5 energy, which is saying that if you want to find a way out of the struggle, that's your 5, right? A way out of the weeds, and get the stability that you need, that's the 4, then you have the 5, grab onto something new, which is what? Letting go of the old ways. Stop being so rigid, that 4 of Pentacles. Stop being so strict in what you do. Let things go a little bit, right? Cleanse that fire. Cleanse it. Let things go. Have a new flame erupt for you going into July. All right. That's what I have for Sagittarius. And now next up is Cancer. All right, Cancers. Here we go with your 3-card mini read. And we're going to just see what the energy looks like going into this month of July. We'll pull a few oracle cards, roll some dice at the end for numerology, and just see where we sit. Okay, are you ready for this? Here we go, Cancer. So your overall theme for the month of July moving into it is a hermit. It's time to step back and do a little bit of reflection, right? Get away from the crowds and really oversee things, really look at your life and how things are unfolded. Make sure it's the path that you want to be, because maybe there's something coming where you want to make a change. You want to do something different, perhaps, right? I don't know, but you know, Cancer, you know. But again, see the blue here? So I'm feeling the watery, I'm feeling the emotional energy here. I'm seeing the gray, a little bit of wisdom. So you really want to think things through. You're on top of the mountain, so there's really no struggles ahead of you. But you want to really just step back and kind of observe and recalibrate your path forward for this month. And so the advice right now, or the theme, is the hermit. Step back and just really think about things rather than just reacting to things, okay? Think things through. That's a 9, and that's how you attain. But if you jump into something, that 9 ain't going to happen for you, okay? And then again, what you want to watch out for this month, Cancer, is the 8 of Swords. So the only person that's going to hold you back is yourself, you see? And so this person here is standing in the mire. They're standing in the mud. And that is just telling me that you're keeping yourself blocked from your own potential, okay? The 5 is struggle. The 3 is your mind working against you, churning, communicating, telling you things in your subconscious mind over and over and over again. But if you want to break that, that's the 8 to move forward. You have to take the blinders off right then and realize that you can overcome this. How? Hermit energy. Get away from people right now. You don't need to be in a lot of crowds. You need to kind of be alone so you can start to see clear again and take the blinders off. Break those bandages that are sitting on top of you right now, wrapped around you, holding you tight, restricting your mind from forward movement. It's time to change, okay? And then the advice is, wow, this is interesting. Sagittarius got the 4 of Pentacles for their theme. You're getting the 4 of Pentacles for the advice, which means that you don't need to go out right now. And so it's kind of like, rather than go out and spend, don't spend this month, hold back and reflect. Hermit, right? And when you look at this too, you have an 8 and a 4 is a 12. A 12 and a 9 is a 21. And a 21 equals a 3. If you want to grow, then you got to step away, take off the blindfold, and withhold a little bit, and to get yourself centered. That's your advice for July, Cancers. Now we're going to pull a couple oracle cards to see what they have to say. All righty, what do we got? Cancers, what do we got for you? All right, what does it say? It says, the eyes of mystery, a 10. You got to break that cycle. Mystery, uncharted territory, and deep knowing. And the only way you can see through this is how? Through the hermit. Taking off the blindfold and not being so socially engaged. Restrict yourself. Now remember, the Pentacles is an interesting card because a lot of times people say it's money. No, it's materialized. Yes, it is finances for sure, but it also can be health. It could be anything in the material realm. Things you can touch, feel, and see, okay? And so the way I'm reading this with these 3 cards is that you need to break away, right? You need to restrict yourself a little bit. Hold back, okay? Because you have a lot of things going on. That's why you need the hermit to see through the mystery. The 10 to break that cycle, to have the new options open up. All right. That's what we're seeing for you. And then another card says what? The true source of power is an 18. And here it says divine will, integrity, power for versus force. Okay. So the true source of power can only be found when you sit and reflect and get other people out of your mind to really understand what it is and who it is you want to be and what path forward you want to take in life. Okay. All right, Cancer. And so the 1 is around, again, options. 2 is a forward momentum type of a thing. But if you wanted that forward momentum, you have to take the advice of the 3 cards below, the Hermit, the 8 of Swords, and the 4 of Pentacles, so you can knight and attain what is it you're seeking moving forward into the future. Okay. So that's the quick little read I have for you, Cancers. Now, as far as the energy of the dice show is what? Wow, that card, that dice really popped out over there. That was a 2 and a 3 is a 5. So saying that, okay, this is interesting. So the 5's around struggle, right? Contention and strife, but it's also around freedom. And how do you free yourself? So how do you get that 5 energy to go freeing? Well, if you stay in the same mode, not break your cycles, you end up staying in this path of resistance. Okay. So by deciding, by 2, choosing to go within and communicate with yourself, your higher power, right? The Hermit, the divine, to meditate, then that 5 becomes very freeing going forward. And that's the only way you're going to attain or achieve that is by going within, ripping off the blindfolds, clearing your mind, and holding back from society a little bit and being a little bit of a hermit this month going into it. Now, can energy change in the middle of the month? That depends on you. Depends on you and how you feel after a little bit of self-reflection with the Hermit. All right, so that's your reading, Cancers. Now we're going to hit up with Scorpio next. All right, Scorpio, here is your 3-card mini read going into the month of July. All right, so what do we have for you? The kind of theme hitting us off is the 9 of Wands. So for some reason, you're kind of feeling beat up from the last month and you feel like you really can't get ahead and your fire is just burning. You're feeling a little bit burnt out, right? And you have to kind of find your calm, right? Now we're saying here, yeah, the 8 of Cups. So it's saying that it's because you're not letting go of last month and you're trying to hold on to something, but the energy is saying you have to move forward because there's nothing worth fighting for. You don't need to stand on guard anymore. You don't need to really hold your ground. You don't need to be ready for the next fight. Now, this isn't the 8. I'm saying this is the 9 of Wands, but you don't have to really stand there and wait. You've already been through the battle. There's no more battle for you. You have to walk away from it. That's why the 8 of Cups shows up here. So you have a choice to make. Do you wait and drain more of your energy, or 8 of Cups it and walk away to find something new and to move past the challenges you've been dealing with into something better? So we're seeing a lot of blue, so it's very emotional. It's very emotional, Scorpio. What are you going to do? You can continue to fight it or say, you know what? I'm done. I'm moving forward. And what's interesting too, here you have a 9 and an 8, which is a 17. That's an 8 energy moving forward. You got to move forward. How? Pick your battles a little bit more wisely. You don't need to stand there and fight. It's game over. Walk away from it, okay? Now, the thing here in the middle, what you remember is that when you do walk away, then things do become good. Things change because the energy shifts, right? So the 9 of Cups. And it means that now you're able to accept new things, new blessings, new beginnings, because you're letting go of all that toxic energy of the 9 of Wands and the 8 of Cups. Now, remember, even though you can see the cards here, the picture in the Rider Waite, when you look at a pip, this is very heavy, heavy energy. It's at a point where it's exhaustion, right? So that's why a guy looks beat up here and this guy's walking away. It's just total exhaustion. And so if you can learn to let that go, then something new is waiting for you. That's why you have the Knight of Cups. And to kind of clarify that is a 3 of Pentacles, saying that you can then become creative once again. You can then start working on the things that you enjoy in life, your crafts, your work, the things that make you happy, to find you some sense of balance and peace. Because 3s, right? 1, 2, and 3. 1, possibility. 2, decisions. 3, growth. You got to choose to do that. How? By walking away from this mess and letting this night bring in new things for you so that you can once again find your peace and calm, okay? And now the advice for you, Scorpio, is the Devil. 15 is saying that indulge a little bit in life, right? Just have a little bit of fun. So maybe you did have a little bit of a rough patch the last month or so. This month is saying, you know what? Heck with it. Embrace a little bit of indulgence. Have a little bit of fun. Now, it's not saying be reckless here at all. It's saying to kind of like just enjoy yourself, treat yourself, pamper yourself, because you've been through one hell of a battle. All right. That's what I'm seeing for you, Scorpio. So this month, just kind of take it slow, easy, let new messages come in. And again, the devil there, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Because what does the devil reduce to? A 6. That's the Lover's card. Enjoy yourself. Lift yourself up. How? A little bit, maybe spend something on yourself. Taking some time for you. And just don't be reckless. That's my warning. Don't be reckless, okay? Now we're going to go to the Oracle card to see what it has to say for you, okay, Scorpio? What does the Oracle have to say for you? All right, here we go. We got, rise to the occasion. What's the occasion? Breaking away. It's saying capability, strength, authenticity, and free will. Be authentic. Be your true you. A Scorpio does not sit there and lie. If you're a passionate sign. So rise the occasion of that. That's why this card's also blue and it's a 42. And what does it equal? What does the devil reduce to? 15-6, right? 42 is a 6. That's how you find your peace and harmony. 2, you make a decision to stabilize yourself, stabilize your emotion, to harmonize. 6, okay? That's what it's saying. And then it says here, this and that are true. In other words, be open-minded. In other words, allow something new to come into your life. Knight of Cups, right? Perspective, nuance, and complexity. So basically, just accept things as they come. Go with the flow. That is an 8. And what this card equal? A 3 and a 5 energy is an 8. So it's saying through creativity and growth, the 5, the struggle then goes away because it becomes an 8. It allows you to move forward, right? How? The devil. Indulge yourself a little. Keep repeating that because you got to hear that. Now the dice say what? It's a 4. So foundations, right? So 2. So this is important because you have a double 2 and it's telling you the energy is twice as thick here. So you have to make good decisions this month and really focus on them. All right, Scorpio, focus on the decisions that you make so you can, for it, have stability once again and find that foundation that you've been seeking. But you won't seek if you keep trying to fight and you don't walk away because there's nothing left for you. All right, that's the message I have for you, Scorpios. And next up is Pisces. All right, Pisces, here is your 3-card read, your mini read. We're just going to see where the energy is at for July and just see how it works out for you, okay? So Pisces, what we got going on is what? Oh, this is kind of a lovely little change from the other signs. You have some celebration ahead. You have things to be grateful of. Remember that. So it's going to be an emotional, fulfilling month. At least it's starting off that way. Can it change? Of course it can. But as of right now, it's looking pretty good going into it, Pisces. You know, you have a 3 of Cups here. A little bit of celebration is in order, right? So enjoy life right now and just don't get caught up in the wares of the world, right? Just focus on the good and the bad like it's not even there right now. 3 it, right? Just continue to grow and be creative and have fun with your friends, okay? That's the 3. Then you have the World. That's a beautiful card. So it's also telling you that if you can continue to not get caught up in the negativity, 3 of Cups, be very positive, then the world sits before you. But if you notice something very important about this card, it hasn't stepped through yet, has it? So it's still kind of held back, which means that you got to be careful not to let your mind take control, because your mind takes control of you, Pisces, and what happens, or your emotions do, you're not going to be able to step forward to the next chapter of your life. You're going to be held up in the past. And this is also a 21. 3, if you want to grow, then you got to celebrate the wins and the hell with the losses, step through and enjoy. That's the World, okay? Now we have the last card for the advice. Knight of Pentacles is saying, take things slow. Don't rush them this month. Take them slow. Take them easy. Things are going to come. Things are going to be fine, right? Don't fight against the grain. Just go with the flow. And the Knight of Pentacles is telling you you're going to find what you're looking for, but it ain't going to come quick, right? It's going to take a little bit of time, and that's okay. All we do is have time. But just don't waste it, and don't waste the negativity. That's what I'm seeing here for you, okay? So that's your 3-card little mini read there, Pisces. Now we're going to pull a couple cards from the Oracle to see what it might have to say for you. Okay, so the Oracle has what? It has for you The consequence of fear. Yep. Don't fear anything. That's why I said don't get caught up in the negative. And that's a 20. That's a 2. You have to choose not to do that, because the 20s, the consequence of fear is all around contraction, the frequency of fear, self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you sit there and be negative all the time, then I warn you not to do that. Your life becomes negative, and you can't step through the threshold of the world, and you get caught back. You're not allowed to enjoy this gift from the universe that they are providing for you, or the sheet's providing for you, right? And whenever you have a chance to move forward, that is a gift from the above. That's a gift that you should embrace and love and cherish. But you only can get it when you choose to embrace and enjoy the happy moments in life, and don't get caught up in all the negativity, because things are always going to come, things are always going to go, and they may not happen as fast as you want, and that's okay. But things do happen. You remember that, but they happen at the pace that the world or the universe wants them to happen, not what you want. Keep that in mind. And so the consequence of fear by always getting caught up in that drama is that you won't be able to move forward, and things just end up turning out not the way you planned. Okay? So remember, no matter what you do, always hold space for love. And that's how you attain things. Because you can't attain things when you're always angry or caught up in negativity, can you? No, or you're being judgmental. Let it go. Accept things for what they are. And Knight of Pentacles, move forward in the material world. Don't let things get you caught up in the negativity or the craziness of our times. So now we're going to roll some dice, Pisces, see what it has to say. And that's a 6 energy. It's saying that new options open that can bring clarity and freedom, 5, as long as you don't get caught up in the 5, the negativity. And if you can learn to see through the propaganda, through the noise, and you 6, you have peace and balance in your life. All right? That's your reading, Pisces, and that's what I have for you going into July. Next up is Libra. All right, Libra, here is your 3-card mini read for going into the month of July. And let's see what the energy has in store for you. All right, first up, we have the theme. This came up for another sign as well, the 9 of Wands, and it's really about not letting your mind get caught up to hold you back, to basically weigh you down with your energy and your passion and your desires, because the more you think about it, the more you're held back. And so it's almost like you're waiting for a fight, but what's the point? What's the point? So don't buy into that negative energy, right? Try to find a different path forward. And instead celebrate. So maybe the problem too is you have a friends, you have a community, you have an event that you're involved with that kind of drains you down out a little bit. Well, let it go. Let it go, right? Instead, seek things that bring positive energy, not making you feel like you always got to sit there and fight, waiting for the next hit, right? It ain't worth it, because what comes after this is pure exhaustion. So if you want to enjoy the wins, maybe you got to change your dynamic of who you hang out with, right? And that is also an 11. Sorry, it's a 12. 9 and 3 is a 12. And so the 12 is telling you that you have to choose to find something new, to 3, to have new growth, right? You can't do it if you're always sitting there trying to wait for the next fight. It ain't worth it, Libra. It just is not worth it. And then what you got to also remember is that the 10 of Pentacles is that if you sit too long in one place, things become very stagnant, right? 10 of Pentacles. And you have to be ready to start over. You have to be ready to break away from stability, in a sense, in order to embrace greater things. So sometimes what it's saying here, if this is like a group of people you hang out with, or society or something like that, friends, maybe it's time for a change. Because it did bring you a lot of growth and prosperity. It did bring you a lot of good things in this world. But the 10 also says it's time, sometimes you got to start at the 1 again to allow new things to enter. If you keep hanging on to the old, then nothing new can enter, right? So that's the kind of vibe I'm getting for you, Libra. And then we have the Page of Wands is saying you have to go and seek new passions, new hobbies, new things that you love in life, right? So it's time to put on that entrepreneur hat, for lack of better terms, and go seek new wealth. Go seek new desires and passion. Maybe it's time for travel. Maybe it's time for a trip. But the point is, what I'm seeing is trying to break away from this old way, this old group, this old bunch of friends, because it's kind of wearing you out a little bit, and they're holding you back from really attaining your true worth in this world. the Ten of Pentacles. So the Page of Wands says now you have to kind of go back and be a little bit young again in mind and spirit and find new things that really help fill your passion, help fill your void. Because right now you're feeling a little bit of void. That's what I'm seeing, Libra. That is exactly what I'm seeing. So now we're going to pull a couple oracle cards to see what they have to say. Oh, okay. So oracle card says what? It says grace within the chaos. That's interesting. Accepting life's complexities, and then the seduction of distraction. Grace within the chaos. So even though that you're frustrated, you can't let it get you too much. You got to find a little bit of calmness within the motion, within the movement forward with these people, because it isn't working. So you got to find a way. I wouldn't really read it as like grace from the chaos. I'm reading it more like you got to find an easy way to move forward the 8 without creating enemies, without creating division, because they're not bad people per se or bad things you're involved in. It's just that you're tired of it. You're tired of the gossiping, the fighting, the 9 of Wands is kind of wearing you down a little bit. So find grace within the chaos, I say, to break away. And then here it says zenith at the peak, 2, victory, achievement, tangible abundance. So if you want to attain greater things, like I said, you have to reset the cycle and go explore new things. That's the Page of Wands energy. And the 2 is telling you have to make a decision to do that. Only you can decide, Libra, if you want to do that or not. But that's the reading I have for you right now going into July. Can it change? Of course it can. That's what we're seeing at this moment right now. And then the cards are again telling you the 3. 1, if you want new options, you have to decide. 2, 3, to grow. How do you grow? You change your scene, you change the dynamics. If you don't change the scene, you don't change the dynamics, and things stay the exact same way. And guess what? You're still back at square one, waiting for the next fight. It's time to move forward. That's just how I'm seeing it, okay? So that's your 3-card read. And next up is Aquarius. All right, Aquarius, this is your 3-card mini read as we head into July, right? And I think we're probably sitting around the 5th or the 6th by the time you see this, maybe closer to the 6th. All right, so Aquarius, here we go. And it seems like right now things are pretty good for you, that you're very happy, that your passions are fulfilled, they're stabilized, you're not really wanting anything. You feel pretty good as we head into July, which is a great thing. So the 4 is also showing you're stable. There's nothing really you're wanting for. You're at a good resting spot right now. So I'm not going to pull another card for the theme because it's looking pretty positive, which I like seeing that right there, right? But then it's telling you too, the things you got to kind of watch out for is that you can't always win. So even though right now you're doing pretty well, the Chariots, it's all about, victory, using your willpower, trusting the divine to move you forward, but don't get caught up in that too much, because when you rely on something else other than you, then your stability starts to fade, right? You start to second guess yourself. You start to kind of doubt yourself. So again, enjoy the peace and harmony right now, but don't let the Chariots, what to look out for, keep you thinking you don't have to do anything to maintain your stability, right? You still have to work. You still have to move forward. And that is a 7. And it comes with a 5 and a 2 energy. So the 5 can be struggle and the 2 are decisions. So what are you going to decide to do? To get 7, you have to observe. You have to watch. You have to be patient. So you just got to really just be careful. Don't let your mind get ahead of you and think that you got all the answers, because you don't. So even though things are going really, really well, don't take things for granted, because as soon as you take them for granted, Aquarius, what happens? Things can fall apart. And then that 4 becomes upside down, inverted, and becomes really chaotic, okay? And then here we have the 6 of Swords. As the advice is that as you move through the month too, and things, if you feel like there's a point where things aren't working out the way you want them to, for whatever reason, get away for the day. Don't engage in arguments. Don't engage in frustration. Don't engage in the mundane, right? If people want to be foolish, let them be. Just keep your thoughts to yourself and move into calmer waters, right? Don't get caught up in the turbulence, because all it's going to do, the turbulence, is bring you down. And when it brings you down, it's going to ruin everything you worked so hard to gain. Don't let people get the best of you. That's what I'm seeing. And then here you have a 6 and a 4 is a 10 and a 7 is a 17, right? That's a 1 and a 7 energy. So saying that If you want to move forward with the 8, you have to always look for new ways to handle things through 7, through observing, so that you can have the victory that you're seeking this month. All right. Now, that's what I have from the tarot. I'm not going to pull any cards, but I'm going to pull a few oracle cards now to kind of see how we can maybe clarify some of this for us, to see what other messages that the universe might have for you, Aquarius. Okay. All right. So first up, we have consequence of fear. I pulled the exact same card for Libra, so it seems like the air signs are kind of getting the same vibe. And what I believe is saying for you, Aquarius, is that don't get caught up in your head. That's why I said when people start getting a little bit crappy towards you, don't engage it, because things that can seep into your subconscious mind, and then self-fulfilling prophecy, it ruins everything. So you have to choose to say, no, I'm going to step away and not deal with it. So that's kind of like the move for this month for you. Just don't get caught up in it and don't get cocky. So even though things are working well and you're always trusting the divine, you're always trusting the universe to guide your path to victory, don't get caught up in arrogance, because as soon as you do, you end up losing the chariot and things turn upside down and start breaking down, breaking apart pretty quickly. Okay. So the next card is the river dances at the sea. That's a 3. Flow state, trusting in the adventure. And so, like I was saying again, too, when things get rough, walk away from it. The river dances to the sea. Break away from the turbulence. Break away from the turmoil. And 3, you can then grow once again, because you're not getting your head caught up in all the nonsense being put on you by other people. So remember, keep a hold of that 4 energy of the wands. Embrace that. Embrace that happiness, that fulfillment that you got going on right now. And realize that the universe will always have your back with a 7th chariot, just as long as you don't get cocky, right? And don't let people get in your head. So 6 of swords, that walk away from it. Just do not engage, because the river dances at the sea. It doesn't do well in one place. It dances as it moves through its channels into the vast ocean, the sea. And that's you. You move into the vast ocean of the sea by moving away from contention and strife. Okay. 3, growth. Now the dice will tell us what energy. The dice gives us a 5. That's interesting too, because it's telling you, Aquarius, that you have to always find stability in new things that come around. So kind of like looking at things differently a little bit, accepting new ways of handling things, walking away versus fighting, right? 6 of swords. And then the 5 becomes freeing versus contentious, because if you do this things the same way, then your 4 energy becomes inverted, and then the 5 becomes chaotic, right? So again, always try to find the piece of path going forward in this month. That's the reading I have for you, Aquarius. And next up is Gemini. All right, Gemini, this is your 3-card mini read for July. All right, so we head into the month. It's telling you to keep focused on hope, keep focused on faith, and that things will always work out. As long as you believe that, you manifest it, things are going to be fine. But it's also showing me here you want to keep yourself balanced, right? Don't always get biased. Keep a neutral position, because with Geminis, we know that you have that sharp, shrewd mind, and sometimes you can get a little bit arrogant and cocky. And remember, it's not always you doing it. You got to have faith that some outside influence also kind of help you along the way, the star, okay? And then with that being said, you have the 2 of Wands saying that you have to also make a decision rather than getting stuck in analysis paralysis. You have to decide, choose the path forward. And look at this card here. It's a 2 of Wands, right? So it's telling me that you have something in your heart that you want to do. You have the world in your hand right there, but you have to now decide. So have faith that's going to work out how you want it to. Have faith that's going to work out the way you're thinking. Believe that to be true. Believe it to work, and it will. But you have to choose that option. Decide you're ready to go forward with that, whatever it is that's on your mind. Okay. And then what's telling you to look out for is don't get caught up in your own head. That's the 8 of swords, because when you get caught up in your own head, what happens? You end up destroying everything around you. You start bringing it down to the ground. You basically go scorched earth and just tear things apart. So don't do that. Go into your decision, believing it's going to work out wonderfully, right? Believe that. decide you're not going to hold anything back and you're just going to go all in, and that you're not going to wear the blindfold. You're going to rip that off, because if you don't rip it off, you're not going to be able to see the forest because of the trees, right? You have to step back, get on the hill, and look down and oversee everything and say, yep, this is the path I want to go forward on. So again, the advice is, do not allow yourself to get caught up in your own head, because if you do, it's going to just destroy everything you've been working on, and it's going to make this decision become more muddy, more unclear, and it's going to drive you completely insane, because you're losing focus of the most important thing, the star. Having hope and faith and believing that you can resolve this, that you can move forward. Even look at the guy in the Two of Wands. He's looking at her. He's looking at the star. So it's like, put your faith somewhere for once. Stop always relying on just your arrogance, right? Realize that sometimes divine help is there. You just got to reach out and grab it. If you get cocky, what's going to happen is you're going to blind yourself and be miserable, all right? That's hard, but Gemini, that's just the way it is, okay? Now we're going to pull a couple oracle cards for you to see what they have to say. Okay, so the oracle has what? The dream of co-creation, 26. Man, a lot of 8s today. Manifestation, divine partnership, frequency alignment. Didn't I just say go to the divine here with the star card, the hope? What does this say? Divine partnership. You can't always do it alone, Gemini. This just validates what I just said. The dream of co-creation, 26. So 2, you have to choose to find the stability and the balance, 6, balance, peace, to 8, to move forward. You have to choose to do that. Because if not, then the 8, 6, 7, 8, 8 here, you keep typing your own mind, you get trapped. So if you don't want to be trapped, you have to have belief that you can do this, manifest it into reality, and realize that sometimes you need divine partnership to move forward, okay? Then we have emergence of protection, a 39. That's a 12. Boundaries, self-preservation, trusting in divine protection. Again, so you got to go to that hope card, the star. You got to go and do a little bit of meditation here and let go of the ego, Gemini. You don't know everything. That's what this card here is telling me. It's a 12, saying that you have to decide to find new ways to obtain things so you can 3, grow it, right? 9, 3 to 12, 2 and 1 to 3, 3 growth. And the only way you're going to do it is by trusting the divine protection and setting boundaries for yourself, which means that let the ego go so you get caught up in your own head. The 8 of Swords. Now, as far as the dice are concerned, the energy there is a 4. Again, if you want stability, you have to make really good decisions and choose that. And that's why the 2's doubled. It's doubled energy. So it's saying you have to really focus and pay attention on the decisions that you make this month. Because if you don't, then stability is not going to work out. It may stagnate. So if you really want to move forward, you have to choose right now, no more analysis paralysis, and you're going to just drive 8 this to the finish line. Whatever 2 it was, the 2 of Wands, that thing that you're deciding on, the passion, go for it. Don't hold back and let it rip. That's what I'm seeing for you, Gemini, okay? And now we're going to hit up with Capricorn next. All right, Capricorn, here is your 3-card mini read going into July. All right, what do we got for you, Capricorn? What do we got? We shall see. We have the Fool. Oh, this is wonderful. It's kind of like the best card I've seen with all the signs. You just got to just go for it, right? Take that leap and just have a great time. And don't let anything hold you back this month. So as you move into July, take a gamble, take a chance, right? Don't be so strict. Don't be so stern. Lighten up a little bit and just move forward, because you already have all the experience you need. Now you just got to kind of trust yourself, know that you can go for it and things are going to be just fine. You've already overcame the challenges. You're already on top of them. So you're no longer having to worry about struggling because you already moved through it, okay? You've already moved through it. That's what we're seeing with the Fool right there, okay? Then it's saying that this is just wonderful, that's going to lead you to a beautiful, I'm thinking a relationship. So the 6, the Lovers card here. So it's almost like you're chasing somebody or someone. It could be a partnership, but it's feeling more like lovey to me, because these are soul cards. The archetype cards are Fool and the Lovers coming up right away like that off the bat. So it's like you got to take a chance sometimes for things to grow. If you want to find the stability, you want to find the peace, the balance, the harmony in anything, relationships, whether they be business or love, you have to be willing to take that gamble. And it's telling me take the gamble and things are going to work out the way you want them to. That's what I'm seeing. Now, I'm not going to pull another card to validate that because I want you to tell me what that is. And only you know, Capricorn. I can't answer that for you. I'm not going to pull another card to tell you, okay? And so what the thing is, you got to be careful too, is that what comes around goes around, karmic justice. So if you don't treat this relationship fairly, then it's going to come back to you tenfold. So no matter what you do, even though you take a chance, even though you want that to work out, make sure you treat this thing with extreme fairness. Don't do anything if it's not from a heart of love. If you think it's a, and the reason why I'm saying is when I look at justice here, if you're trying to think like, well, I can get one over on somebody or I can like get something out of it, that ain't going to work out. This karmic justice will come back and bite you in the ass. All right. And the thing is, because it's an 11, that gets into, that's a master number. So it's all about divine inspiration to here, divine guidance. So the come around, go around is not earthly justice, it's heavenly justice. So if you don't treat this person right, because maybe they're vulnerable, it's going to come back and haunt you. So make sure that you approach this with gloves. Okay? Don't be a jerk. Don't be an ass. Approach it with a heart of love. I repeat that many times because that's extremely, extremely important to remember. Okay? Let's pull one more card. Yeah. And one more thing, too. I pulled a second card here because I wanted to kind of clarify justice. And it's really saying that this person, this is definitely a love read. Nurture them. Embrace them. Don't sit there and think that you're going to get one over on them, because it isn't going to happen. So if you are trying to jump into this relationship with the wrong mindset, it's going to bite you really freaking hard, because this queen ain't going to tolerate it, because they also can be impulsive too. So again, what comes around goes around. Fire on fire is not something that you want. So this is a Leo energy coming through here too. So this is a very fiery type of a person or a situation. So that's why you got to treat it with fairness. If you don't, then it's going to bite pretty hard. Okay. That's what I'm seeing for you as far as the tarot is concerned. Now we're going to pull a couple of oracle cards to see what it has to say for you. Okay. The true source of power. This card came up before too. Is 18. Divine will, integrity, power versus force. Power versus force. Interesting. So the way you move forward in this, if you want to make this work and have it grow into something special, is that you have to go into it with pure integrity and make sure it's divine will. And what does that mean? That make sure it's something that's real, not something that you're trying to force. So even though you got to take that leap and chance to make the relationship come together, that's why justice here is saying, be careful now, right? Don't force it. Don't force it, because this queen energy is going to come back and light you up pretty hard. So as long as you come at it with a heart of love, then things are going to work out really well. Okay. Be honest and truthful. Just let them know your intention. Don't hold anything back. And then here it says, all the time in the world. You don't have to rush it. 8 and 2 is a 10. So if you want to break the cycle of just kind of dating or take it to the next level type of a thing, you have all the time in the world. You don't need to rush anything. Okay. And it says having enough time management. So just, date, be kind, be loving. Don't rush. No matter what you do not rush. That's what it's saying. And that's why justice is saying, be careful. Be careful. And then we have a 7. So it's telling you too that you communicate your thoughts, to start building a solid foundation with them. And you do that through 7, observing how they react, observing to their emotions, to embrace them, to love them, to come together with them. 7. All right. So that's your reading, Capricorn. And next up is Taurus. All right, Taurus, this is your 3-card mini read going into July. So let's see what the energy has for you, Tauruses. Okay, so what we got going on? What the heck is going on? King of Swords. Be sharp, be shrewd. Use your mind as you move forward this month. Don't act erratic. Make sure that you do everything with mental clarity and be very precise. Let your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes, and don't sugarcoat anything. It's just no nonsense. There's no time for it. What could it be around? Strength. So it's around you. Just, you don't want nobody taking advantage of you or anybody trying to steal your thunder. And so even though you're being sharp and shrewd, right, with the King of Swords, Strength is saying you don't need to also be very brash, right? So remember, you need to temper your responses, but also be extremely firm because you're controlling the line and the line is not controlling you, right? So when people come in, you can still be kind and gentle in the sense, but again, the King says you're going to be very sharp because that sword cuts both ways, right? You're not going to let anybody get one over on you this month, okay, Taurus? That's what I'm seeing for you. So let your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes. And as far as like the thing, what this is kind of about is that there were some things last month that kind of hurt you and that you're done with it. It's time to walk away because there's nothing left, right? There's no more anything. And that's why the Strength card shows, because it's saying that don't let the attitude and the Eight of Cups override your mind or your mental clarity. Don't let your emotions take over because then you could go scorched earth. So say, nah, let it go, drop it and just move forward because there's nothing more here. So whatever it was last month that got you, it isn't going to help to dwell on it. It isn't going to help try to even argue about it. King of Swords, yes be yes, no be no's. Strength card crosses it saying you're going to use your inner strength. You're not going to bend a knee. And the Eight of Cups here says you're going to walk away. That's what you got to be mindful of. And then the advice for all of this is the Two of Swords is that because it's in the advice position, I'm going to read it as do not let the decision you need to cut these people off block you. Don't get stalemated. Don't let them get into your head. Because as a King of Wands, you're King of Wands. As a King of Swords shows, you have pure clarity on it. Eight of Cups shows that you know you're done with it. Two of Swords is showing you that you need to basically see it for what it is and make a decision and don't teeter-totter on it. Because this is a stalemate card. There's no stalemate. You know what you need to do. You need to just make the decision that you're done. Move forward. But also do it with grace and do it with kindness because you get a lot more with honey than you do with vinegar. You know what I'm saying? All right. So with that being said, Taurus, we're going to pull a couple of oracle cards to see what they have to say for you. And then we'll wrap this up with some dice for numerology because numbers never lie. Ever. They always validate everything. Okay. What do we got? God, this card came up too a while ago. The dream of co-creation. So it's saying that sometimes you have to also manifest a positive for it to happen. Believe that you have the power to say no. Believe you have the power to control the situation and that to manifest the dream of co-creation because you tap into divine guidance to help move you through this troubled time because it's heavy on your heart, right? And heavy on the mind. And the next card we have is the Serenity out of Exile. And what this is telling me is exhale, surrender, radical acceptance. Just accept it. Accept that it's over. It's fine. Surrender that to the divine, right? To your spirit guides above. And just breathe out. Let it go. That's the one. And new options will open. New opportunities become a reality because you're going to manifest it. And then the dice gives you 12. 2 sixes. So whenever you see two numbers of the same thing, it tells you it's double energy. Pay really close attention to that. That's harmony. So if you really want harmony, then you have to 12 that. One, you have to look for ways to break free. By 2, choosing that. Deciding, two, that you're not going to tolerate it anymore, but you're going to handle it 1, differently. That gives you a 3. That will then allow you to grow because you're going to communicate your yeses are yes and your no's are no's, and you're done with the games. 8 of Cups. Anyway, Taurus says, that's the reading I have for you as you go into July. Can things change? Of course they can. But as of right now, this is the energy for you. And next up is Virgo. All right, Virgo, this is your 3-card mini read as we go into July. And let's see what the energy has for you. All right, Virgo, here we go. You ready? I don't know if I am, but we'll see. All right. Good Lord. You know what? Something's telling you it's time to have a serious change. It's judgment. And you have to accept this whether you want to or not. Because if you don't awaken to this, if you don't accept this and be willing to renew and lift yourself above, then you're going to continue to stay stuck in this turmoil, Virgo, and it ain't going to get any better for you. So it's really a time to really awaken. It's a personal awakening. Yeah, it is. And it's telling you that you're not living the life you need to live right now. And it's time for you to wake up to the fact that you need to change. You need a serious change, and you need one right now. Judgment, which is a 22, which means decision. If you want to find a path forward, you better decide to accept this right now, because your life needs to change. Judgment. Okay. Now, what's kind of circling this? It seems like it's some type of relationship. It's another 2. It's a decision of some type. So the 2 of the Judgment card and the 2 of the 2 of Cups is a 4. If you want that foundation, you're going to have to change your ways for this relationship to work out. That's the 2 of Cups. Okay, so it seems like to me there's something going on that involves another person. And if you don't change your ways, Virgo, it's over. They're going to walk away from you. Is that what you want? And what could be causing this is that they don't feel like they're being treated very fairly. 6 of Pentacles. They feel like that maybe you're a little bit controlling, that you're trying to hold back everything. And what's really interesting too with this card on the 6 of Pentacles is you have a 3, 2, and a 1. Okay, that's a pattern. It's there for a reason, because it's telling you the 3, your communication is shit. It's not very good. And the 2, you better decide to change how, 1, you speak. New ways to say something. Okay, so rather than being so harsh all the time and getting caught up in that earth energy, be a little bit more accepting of the other person's mindset and communicate so they don't feel like you are controlling them. Because right now they feel like you're not being very fair in the way that you're dealing with them. That's the vibe I'm getting with the Judgment, the 2 of Cups, and the 6 of Pentacles as it crosses the 2 of Cups. And then the advice that we have to wrap this up, again, this was a short read, is a 4 of Swords, that you have to, sometimes it's better not to say everything you want to say. So the 4 of Swords here is telling me that you need to just be quiet, shut your mouth a little bit, and let the other person speak. That's why he's in a resting position, he, she, whatever. But the 4 of Swords looks like you see the knight here laying down on the slab with a sword beneath him. The sword is in a position of rest as well, and the 3 swords are pointing down, which means there's no reaction. It's not going to fight. So it's telling me the 3, you let them communicate to you for a change. Listen a little bit more, because if you don't change your ways, Judgment, they're going to walk away from you. That's just what's going to happen. People need to be heard, and if they feel like you're not hearing them, then what happens? They're done. So that's why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? To listen more and only speak when needed. And you don't need to always say everything on your mind. So again, 4 of Swords, it shut it. So it doesn't really mean in this reading to go into a rest. It's really like let the mouth be quiet, because everything you spoke into existence becomes reality. So if you say things that are kind of coarse or harsh or unfair to them, they're done. So Judgment's telling you, see, Judgment card is an archetype. That's your soul. It's telling you, dude, if you don't wake up right now to this situation, your partner is gone. They're 86. C'est la vie. Goodbye. I'm out of here. So for it, if you want stability, shut your mouth. I know it's just harsh, Virgo, but sometimes it's got to be said, because people that care about you the most are going to tell you the truth, and I'm here to tell you the truth. All right. Next, we're going to go to a few oracle cards to wrap this up. Right? Hey, if I didn't care about you, I wouldn't be shooting straight with you. I got to shoot straight with you, right? That's the point. Or why even do this? You should see some of the readings I give it to myself. Oh boy, they keep me up at night, I'll tell you that. All right, so next we go. Oracle, what do we got? We have for you, Virgo, is another chance to be. Do you want that? You want the other chance? Then be quiet and awaken to it. Okay? Because they don't feel you're treating them fairly. Reclamation, second chances, rebirth, emotional healing. You want that to happen? Silence. How? 3, communicate carefully. Communicate to 6 to bring in harmony, peace, and balance into your life with this person. 9, then you start attaining things with them. You start growing. So you can get to the 10, so you can reset into something even greater and stronger. That's what it's telling you, Virgo. Then we have what? The full moon eclipse, 15. Removing internal obstacles. How do you do that? Shutting your mouth right there. Confronting self-identity and intensity. Lighten up. Lighten up. One energy, 5 energy, saying that look for new ways to turn that struggle, 5, into 6. Harmony and peace. Only you can do that, Virgo. Only you can do that. And then we'll wrap this up with a dice, and we have 7. Isn't that beautiful? Woo wee. 3 and 4. 4. You want foundation? 3. Close your communication. In other words, listen. 7. 7 is what? Observation. What are you doing when somebody talks to you? Listen to their words. That's observing what they're saying. So they feel respected. They feel heard. 6 of Pentacles. They feel they're being treated fairly because you are listening to them. You're 70ing with them. Okay? You got it? That is your reading, Virgo, that I have for you going into July. And things can change. If you don't wake into this call, then I'm sorry, but it's pretty much over. And that's not tarot telling me the future. It's because that's human nature. When people aren't being heard or feeling validated, they're gone. So if you want to fix that, awaken to the problem that you need to stop doing what you're doing and listen a little bit more. Now, with that being said, I want to thank every single one of you who sat with me through all 12 of these readings. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. And if any of you want a reading of your own, head over to wordtothetwist.com, book a reading with me, and I'm there waiting for you. Now, I said at the very beginning that there was something special. This is the month of 7, right? The month of July, which means that this month you have to start to really observe things a little bit more than just speak out. And if you can do that across all signs, that's going to really help you with each of your readings. So it all comes down to, are you really willing to do that? Are you really willing to take a step back and just kind of sit on something for a while to really observe something before acting to it? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to do something called the embrace and let go, so you can capture that 7 energy. And the 7 energy is what? Well, the 7 energy is the Chariot card. So let's find the Chariot card. Whatever is behind it, we're going to let go of that. Whatever is in front of it, we're going to embrace it to really capture that energy, okay? So what we do is look at the cards and just run through them and find wherever that Chariot is. So here we go. So the Chariot is saying that truly embrace that energy of victory, of overcoming observation. You have to work on yourself. Work on your craft, work on your communication, work on your speech, work on caring towards other people. So this is everything in the earthly realm. So health, wealth, things you can see, taste, feel, touch, etc., etc. But if you're trying to maintain victory, you have to then work on it, right? Maybe you have to go to counseling to know how to speak better. Maybe you have to go talk to somebody. Maybe you have to go and get out into nature and get away so you can refine yourself, refine you. 8 of Pentacles. That's how I'm reading this card. And so just let go of the contention. You know what I'm saying? So rather than trying to be a perfectionist, refine yourself. Because perfection is all about winning. And winning at any cost will cost you victory. Because it's the wrong kind. Okay? If you can let go of that contention of always having to be right? Perfecting that, where it's like, perfectionist, it's your way or no other way at all. That's the way of reading this card. Let that go, and you can embrace new opportunities of the Fool. You can then have a beautiful, wonderful July because you're going to embrace this full energy. Okay? That's the read. That's the wrap up. That's the end of the reading for y'all for the July horoscope reading for all the signs. And if you enjoyed this, drop me a comment, let me know. And if you do want a reading for yourself or become part of the community, wordtothetwist.com and check it out. Until next time, I want to see you in the next reading. All right. Bye, everybody.